Hello everyone, this is Andrew. It is July the 9th, 2012. It's Monday, 11:20 a.m. Let me switch off because I can hear the background music playing as I'm talking. It's a little bit distracting. So this is podcast, I guess, number 2 for the Inner Flame Ascension Symptoms Support Group, the Peacekeepers. And I've got to say, I've really been... You know, there's a few of us right now that are interacting on a regular basis, and we're getting more and more members. I think a lot of people are on the still a lot on the other Ascension Symptoms Support Group site, which is absolutely fine. But obviously, the more people that interact here, the better the interaction is going to be. And the more diversity. I think what I love already about this page or this group is we're kind of having a mental game of soccer. You know, the ball is the idea or the concept, and we just kick it about and have fun with it. And yeah, it's all good. And what you're seeing when you read the comments are literally people's points of view, and that's fantastic because it's not, you're not seeing the way being kicked around. You know, you're not seeing this is the way it is. So there's lots of that discussion, obviously, on the other groups as well, which is fantastic. Like I said, we're all pushing in the direction that we need to be going, which is great. But I have enjoyed it. Heather said, "Does having an open mind mean that we can, for a moment, accept that everything we hold as truth is wrong?" And you know, I thought about it, and as odd a question as that is, I have actually thought about that very question before. Not maybe in those very same words, but it's just, you know, we have these concepts, we have these beliefs, we have these feelings that we feel are the way. And it's a little bit like UFOs. We know they exist, but until we actually see it for ourselves, you know, we're just on the fence a little bit. Like if someone turned up and said, well, you know what, sadly they don't exist, and they, you know, that was the way it was proven to be, I guess then so be it. But no, it's like I'm pre-party ready. I'm ready to party with this, and I know that some things just are. I don't need anyone else to believe it. Lisa asked me. I had written a post. Got a little sidetracked actually within a conversation, and I basically said, "Me too. My family have had UFO interactions on some levels. I have had stuff happen to a degree. I feel I'm an abducted reject, or a rejected abductee." I said my brother, on the other hand, who I invited to this group, has had a lot more. Now, I won't recount his stuff, but hit the detail anyway. But what I will say is that he was witness to a massive triangular silent UFO which flew over his head so very slowly, and he watched it for quite a while. And he's later had some very telltale abductee type story-like symptoms while in his bedroom. So I'll leave that all up to him for if and when he's ready or even able to tell us here. But my situation was when I was about, I don't know, 7, 8, 9. It's all a bit of a blur, really. I used to have what I used to think was a recurring dream, and the dream was I'd be out in the street. I'd be out in the street and I'd be playing with a spacecraft, let's say, because I knew it was a craft from outer space, another dimension, what have you. And it was in the streets and all the lights were on. And it was like a Christmas tree, like a multicolored light Christmas tree. A little bit rocket shaped, but not, it's like half between like the Beatles' Yellow Submarine, but more like a spacecraft. And it was silverish, whitish, but it had these bright lights all over it. And all the children in the area were there, and they were playing in and around this craft. And I used to have this over and over, but one of the underlying things for me was I would look at this and I would think it was almost like I was the only one that was awake. And I was looking at this thinking, okay, I see all the kids playing, but something's not quite right. And I think the Christmas tree light aspect gave it enough friendliness of a feeling about it that I wasn't ultra scared of what was happening. Another side to that story, and that dream came back to me years, like just over the years. It's bugged me over the years from such a young age. So there's something there. And then my parents used to tell me they had to put screws on the window. I used to live on the second floor in a 2-story house, semi-detached they would call them in the UK. And I used to sit on the windowsill with my legs dangling out. What an odd thing to do, but I do not ever remember doing this. And my parents would say that eventually they had to put a lock on the doors, because I would always get out of my bedroom and I'd be down like 4 or 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning downstairs playing. And all of that just kind of begs these deeper questions, you know. How did I get there? Why was I there? I don't remember any of it. Lots of other stuff as well. Stories that I've recounted. When I was 19, I've never seen a UFO. I think I may have once, but it could have been an aircraft, so who the hell knows, you know. So putting all of that aside for now, and getting back to the group, the Inner Flame, I gotta stop saying I actually play this back and I take out a bunch, so it sounds even a lot worse the first time around, as I play it without all of the ums and the ahs taken out. So I've tried to add an individual, and they have they first asked to join the group, so I clicked added, and then they were not able to see the comments bar, so they could add their own comments, etc., and write posts. So over a couple of days, I guess they unclicked from the group and then asked to be joined again, which then I added again, and they've done this 2 or 3, 4 times now, and I can see no way as to why this is happening, and it's a bit frustrating. So I went to Facebook's help page, contacted them through their form mail on that page, which is a bit frustrating in itself, because there's no guarantee that you're actually going to get a response. And I've searched the internet and have found others with exactly the same issue, but I've found no fixes so far. So I've asked this person to log out, log back in. Maybe even a good thing might be to refresh or restart the computer or the phone itself. So I've gone in, I've looked at all the settings, everything seems fine. So it's hard to say. So good luck with that, and if any of you, like I said, if any of you do have any good suggestions, let me know, and I'll certainly pass them on, or type them in the group itself, so that everyone can see some possible fixes to get around this issue. Very frustrating. So getting back to the group, one of the questions that was posed today by Heather was, I have found myself pondering the subject of old souls of late. The thought of old souls takes me to thinking of past lives. Does anyone have a comment on what it means to be an old soul, or a recollection of a past life? So we've had a few interactions, mostly between Heather and myself, but Philippe Wilsberg, who is Amsterdam, I can't remember. He's out there somewhere, Germany, Sweden, something like that. I apologise, Philippe, if I have that wrong. But Philippe says, no, I have no further comments because I just see the soul as a tool for the spirit to collect experiences to the spirit. So, and Heather said, I love that. I have the same concept, but I've never heard anyone else quite say it quite that simply. That is why I've been asking the question. I do enjoy listening to the recollections of past lives, although many people remember being here. What professions were they in? Very detailed. I enjoy hearing about it. Now, on Coast to Coast Radio, there's a guy that wrote a book, and there was a show all about past lives. And he wrote a book about many situations. I recently listened to a book. Now, if I can do this as I'm talking, this will be absolutely outstanding. I have Audible on my iPhone, and while I was on there, while I was on Coast to Coast, I listened to a show many shows ago, because I went back in the archives, and they were talking about a book called Soul Survivor. And it's about a 3-year-old child that started having nightmares, and he started doing all this weird and crazy stuff, and his parents didn't understand. And slowly but surely, the father was a very staunch Catholic, I believe, born and raised. And slowly but surely, he tried to disprove what was happening with his son, but eventually he ended up proving everything. So, which went against everything that he was raised to believe. And it's a true story, an absolutely amazing story. It's the reincarnation of a World War II fighter pilot. Bruce and Andrea Leininger, with Ken Gross, with a foreword by Carol Bowman. So this is just a fantastic story, spine-chilling at times. And I've also got another book in this house. This is an audio book, but I have a book in the house somewhere where this guy was regressed with hypnosis. And he was in the Civil War, and he was able to recount how much he was getting paid each week, who served with him, all the details that could have been cross-referenced, but you'd have to dig and dig and dig and have luck on your side to find half of the stuff that they had to dig up to prove that this guy was real. And in the case of the Soul Survivor book, with the boy being a World War II fighter pilot, he brought up some stuff that only certain individuals knew, that they had to be truly researched and dug down deep to find these people, come the end, through reunions and what have you. And there's one guy that would never ever go to the reunions, and he was a key part to it. And they actually found the fighter pilot's sister, and to see the young 5-year-old child eventually interact with this older sister, and he was saying that he was just that in the book they were saying that you could see the 5-year-old looking at this 90-year-old woman, fighting to see the resemblance of a young 21-year-old girl that he once knew, because that's the last time he saw her. So just absolutely incredible and fascinating stuff. So my response to Heather let's see, I have been places that have felt familiar to me, known the streets, have had vivid dreams of a place that I should not have known, but do. I have had such similar things happen to me as my relatives so many generations ago. It was as though I was reliving their actions, their past destiny. I have always felt as though I have created furniture in another life. I have been regressed and have found to be a French furniture maker back in the 1700s or the 1800s, and in another life worked in a cramped mine shaft someplace. I'm not sure if I believe my past lives, but there is something to it for sure. I feel at times I want to say I am an old soul, but then at other times I react in such a way with someone in real life, quote unquote, that how can I be an old soul if I'm still a jackass on some level, you know? All that being said, I wholeheartedly believe in reincarnation for sure. As you walk around and meet people, it really does explain the levels of consciousness we see about us. I'll take it further though. I also believe in one soul being shared by many bodies experience, many lives at once to gain further experience and knowledge. And that being said, I feel we are all exactly like the book Conversations with God, which is, and this is my view, a God force is one thing, everything. That one thing, God, wanted to experience life, emotions, love, self, the whole enchilada. So it became many fragments of itself to experience all of this over time. As there is no end to this God force, countless people can be born, each with a spirit. It can go on forever, but ultimately, I am you and you am I. Is that good English? I'm not sure. I'm British, I should know. And that is why I feel when all of this is said and done, someday, not only can we come back around again, or we can finally go back to the source, and we can be that whole once more. I think God is enjoying the game of life, as ultimately it begs the question, is there evil in the world, or simply the divine way, if everything is good, is God? I made a mistake, but maybe that even sounds better. P.S. I don't believe in the devil, although I do feel we can possibly experience hell on earth due to our thoughts on it all. So that's not my entire thought all neatly tied up in a bow or anything, but that's the gist of it for myself. Until something more heartfelt makes its mark, the great thing is no one can ever tell you the way it is. You could just have to find out your truth. I think we live our own life, and we live our own afterlife too, in whatever way we conceive it to be. I think life and death are what we make it to be, period. So, some good conversing. I'm unable to be on Facebook all day long as I wish to be honest with you. There's some absolutely fantastic conversation, and I have to say that for the very first time I kind of feel like I've found a place where I can be myself, and it's filling in a huge missing part of me. I think the biggest hurdle for me has been giving a crap what other people have been thinking about me, caring too much what the other person's opinion of me might be, when I just need to be me. So whereas I might not be completely myself on my main Facebook page or anywhere else in life, although I am in major areas. It's just nice to be on a page in a group with other like-minded people that we can just kick around concepts, thoughts, beliefs, and what have you, and it's all good. So what we could do is, I know Kathleen is a part of this group, and I was thinking one of the first experiments we could start doing was doing some fixed time meditation prayer / intentions for Kathleen to help her with her cancer, and let's see if we can make a positive change in that for her and help her become better. I believe it's so very possible. I think it's very much a possibility to raise her thoughts of outcome, to disband any negativity within her body so that it can start taking care of itself. And I'm not foolish enough to think that I or you are the healer. I believe that we are all healers of ourselves, but sometimes we just need a conduit of energy, of focused intention, like fuel in a car, you know. I can get where I need to go, but if you're the fuel, if you give me that pat on the back or whatever it might be, you're certainly going to help me along my way. So I think we can be that for Kathleen, and I say we do it. So maybe over the course of the next week, let's ask the question of when might suit everyone the best. And I think it's best that we do it together, because when 2 or 3 are gathered in the focus of one thing, you know, that's where real power lies. I'm having trouble with my English tonight. So I think even though individually, if we concentrate and we send love, we send good vibration, we send healing, we send light, that's fantastic. And if you can only do it on your time, do it on your time. But I think if we can do it together as a group, that would be also so much more powerful. So we'll concentrate on that, and we'll be there for Kathleen. So welcome to all the new members. Great to have you aboard. 40 members now. So that's good. On the other page, we had 57. I've sent messages to everyone that I could within that group, but some people, when I clicked on their profile, I was actually unable to send a message. So if you know of anyone that would like to be a part of the group, let them know about us, and you know, one of the admins will let them in. Now, we do have a strict no shouting policy in this group, which basically means we can have our conversations. For sure, that's what we're about. We can even have disagreements. That's fine too. You know, we can agree to disagree. But what I don't want is little demigods walking around blurting out their truth as though that's the one and only thing that exists. You know, that's part of the reason why I started this group, just to make sure that everyone was seen as equal, and we are all equal for sure. You're only hearing my voice because I've just got the technical ability and the knowledge of how to do it. So please feel free if you want to put up a post and do your own recordings. I'd love to hear you too. I think what we're going to do, as discussed with Heather, Heather's got a couple of things that she would actually like to talk about in a podcast. One of them being OBEs, out-of-body experiences, which I've had many experiences of. I've had sleeping and waking out-of-body experiences. And really, that was one of my early experiences that kind of led me into this spiritual way of being. So I think what we'll do is I will set up the ability to be able to have a phone conversation with you guys. one at a time, or have many of us all on the same phone line. There's quite a few ways that I can set that up, and then record the show and then put the show up here. But also at the same time, we can also be live if we want. The only thing for myself is that I do tend to say a lot, and and the little gap filling audible fillers that we could all do without. So that's a thought. So think about what you'd like to talk about and let me know. Again, this is just my voice right now, but let's expand this. Maybe we can do this weekly or bi-weekly, and every other week, so to speak, and we can get a nice thing going. And by you creating a conversation, it actually gets brought up on the podcast. So I don't want this all about me. I'm just getting the ball rolling. So for those of you that are fed up with my voice already, I don't blame you. And we'll get a podcast going of substance for the group, The Inner Flame. And for any of you listening, you can join us at facebook.com/groups/The Inner Flame. That's it. Would love to see you here, and come join in the conversation. We're slowly building, and the more people will get, the better conversation, the better things we can kick about and discuss. So that's it. The end of another little podcast. 26, almost 27 minutes. Jeez. I used to have a podcast a long time ago, and they used to be like an hour, 2 hours. So I have a trouble knowing when to stop. So I'm going to stop now and get this prepared and up to YouTube. What I'm going to do is, because I opened a YouTube account, but it limits me to 10 minutes. So what I'm doing is I'm putting this into my regular YouTube account, but I'm not going to list it. It's just going to be an unlisted podcast. That way I can put it up. I don't have a time limit there. It could be like 2-3 hours long if I wanted it to, on my standard YouTube account. So for any of you that know me, I'm a web guy. I'm a designer. I'm an artist, photographer, sculptor, all that stuff. And I'm all over the internet, in many different ways, and what have you. So, the web is I kind of know it inside out for the most part. But it's changing every day. So there's always new stuff to learn about. I'm heavily into the social web, and what have you. So if any of you need help, just let me know in regards to getting your own thing going, and I'll send you any of the information that I can. And you can reach me, probably the easiest address, so I can put you aside from everyone else that contacts me. The email address would be info@innerfla.me. That's info@innerfla.me. That's innerfla.me. The address looks good, but it's a hard one to describe audibly. So anyway, so that's it. Thanks for listening, and let's discuss some more cool things. And if you have businesses, like I know Michael, who we're trying to get to join the group, he's joined multiple times, but we're having some technical difficulties. I've contacted Facebook. We're waiting to hear back to see if there's a way to fix this. Michael might be on an older browser, an older phone, an older computer. I'm not sure. Hard to say. But some of us have businesses in the spiritual realm, and it would be fantastic to learn about you and what you do. So that's it for now. Much love, much peace and happiness to everyone, and I will speak to you and chat with you soon. Take care.